Hi, I'm Kerr Thomson, and I'm the author of The Rise of Wolves, which I'm delighted to say has been shortlisted for the Scottish Teenage Book Prize 2019. And I'm here amongst the wind turbines of Whiteley Wind Farm to tell you a little more about it. The Rise of Wolves is an adventure story set on a small Scottish island where three teenagers have to come together to undertake a daring feat to save the island that they love. And along the way, they encounter some mysterious black wolves. And now I'm going to do a little reading from the very first page of The Rise of Wolves. Chapter 1 of The Rise of Wolves. The howl pierced the darkening sky and made Innes Munro stop dead in his tracks. He pulled his hood down, listened intently. The only sound was his beating heart. That was a wolf, he thought. But it couldn't have been. There were no wolves on the island of Nin, no wolves in Scotland anymore, not for almost 300 years. It was just a trick of the wind. He pressed on but kept his hood down. The afternoon light of early March was fading fast. Snow was falling, and he was still a good half-mile from home. Innes walked faster, told himself it was not the howl that made him hurry, but the gloomy sky and the gathering snow. He was crossing the barrens, the middle of the island where the land was hummocky and boggy. Another howl came, long, blood-curdling, wolf-like. Innes stopped again, caught his breath and held it. He turned full circle, scanning the landscape, peering through the snow and the gloom. Closer this time. It was someone playing a trick, trying to frighten him, someone from school looking to mock him in a new and different way. It was pretty lame, actually. There were no wolves on Nin. Innes cupped a hand to his mouth and returned the best horror movie wolf howl he could muster. There was an immediate response, but from further away this time, in the distance up by the mountain. And then another howl much closer, a sound that no boy could make. Innes whirled around and stared across the moor. 20 paces from where he stood was a shape, dark against the brightness of the swirling snow. The silhouette of an animal. It stood side on to him, front and back legs splayed, back arched, bushy tail curved down. Innes watched the creature raise its head slowly to the sky, and another howl shattered the silence. It was the unmistakable silhouette of a wolf. The Rise of Wolves is set mostly on the island of Nin. And there's something about an island, a little lost world with secrets and stories that have to be told. There's something dramatic about the place where the ocean meets the shore. The characters in the book have to go to school, they have to leave their island, but that only makes the isolation of the island even more so when they have to return. And of course the best and the worst thing about an island is, unless you have a boat, you can't get off. Innes, the main character, lives with his grandfather on the island. His parents are absent, they're working on the mainland. And Innes has to look after his grandfather, he's the main caregiver. And of course that makes Innes a bit more independent, a bit more self-reliant. He needs a certain level of maturity and self-responsibility. And he also has to solve problems. And he faces a big problem. His island is under threat. And he's the one that has to solve it. And the way he goes about doing it might seem a little bit extreme, but it works for him. I think it's important for young people to realise that sometimes you have to take risks. You have to try something new. And whether you fail or whether you succeed, as long as you are challenging yourself and stepping out of your comfort zone, then you're going to achieve something at the end of it. The main character in the book, Innes, has dyscalculia, which is a problem with numbers. And it plays a crucial role in the plot of the book. But I think it's also a reflection on the fact that many young people struggle with something. It might be a learning difficulty, it might be a physical disability, it might be family problems, mental health issues. It's important for young people, for young readers to understand that lots of people perhaps are in the same situation as them. And it's okay to have struggles. and that there are ways to accept and overcome these, as Innes does in the book. An important feature of the Rise of Wolves is nature and landscape and wildlife and how the young people interact with these things. If you're going to write about nature, then a few tips. The first one being you have to go and visit nature. You have to take a walk into the wild. You have to go somewhere new and be an explorer. Climb a hill and imagine what lies on the other side. And leave all your digital distractions behind. Don't swipe, don't look at your phone. Look around you instead at the world that you're walking through. And then when you come home, bring back a souvenir. Bring back a stone or a shell or a stick. Something that you can hold and you can feel and you can touch and you can remember the place that you have just visited and be inspired to write your own story.